The 2025 Ballon d'Or is the most open ever in history. So there is no Ronaldo, no Messi, and PSG for the first time in their history, they won the Champions League. So who deserves the football's biggest individual award? Before we dive in, this isn't my top 10 preferred players in the season. These are the players who are in the media right now and players who I think have a chance for to win the Ballon d'Or and who also deserves to be in the top 10 of the Ballon d'Or. I prefer to repeat myself because I don't want to be like all these journalists who vote for their preferred players or the player who comes from their country. I'm trying to be here objective. So this top 10 Ballon d'Or will follow the three criteria of the Ballon d'Or, which are individual performances and also like impact in the big matches. There's the team performances and there's also the class of the player. So let's dive in. At the number 10th position is my favorite player. I had to put him in this top 10 Ballon d'Or for me. And I'm talking about the best defender in the world this season, William Pacho. I think he is the main guy that transformed the PSG backline. Marquinhos have been there for years. He's the captain. I respect him, but the best defender of this PSG side is, for me, William Pacho. William Pacho is what I call pessimist defender, which means that he's the type of defender that will stay in his match for 90 minutes, not 82, not 85, but 90 minutes. He is a top defender, more of a natural center back, not more of a modern center back, but we have to talk about his individual performance. That's what he lacks a bit, but he stays the main man of PSG backline. We have to talk about also the trophies he won. He basically won every trophy this season, and also the class of the player. There's nothing to say about William Pacho. Let's move to the next. This pick will surprise everyone because I think many of you maybe are waiting for me to put him higher on the list, but for me, Kylian Mbappe, he's number 9 on my list. And it's already a huge achievement that he's on this list because let's be honest, if you're not a Madridista or Florentino Perez, why would you say that Mbappe is in the top three? We remember he's awful, but he's disaster in the beginning of the season. But we have to give him his second part of the season where he was really good. Again, in terms of trophies, too light for me. With only one Super Cup won for Real Madrid, I know that they're trying to place the debate around this Club World Cup. Is Mbappe Ballon d'Or if he wins the club? We don't even care about that competition. Kylian Mbappe, unfortunately, is not in even the top five best players this season. Individually, we have to give him the P50 La Liga in his first season. It's an incredible achievement. And also, he was the Golden Boot, which I think it's an incredible achievement. We have to praise his first season as a Madrid player. I think the fact that he's even on this list is a great achievement. But let's be honest, again, he's not in the top five of the best players this season. Let's move to the next. Another player on this list that plays for PSG, there will be a lot of players of is on this list is Hakimi. Hakimi, I think, is the best right back in the world. Again, we know his qualities of offensively. He's always running. Was decisive in big games for PSG this season. Over in the season, he was a main factor of this PSG also success. So for me, he deserves a place in this list, and I think this position suits him very well. Hakimi, individual performances, there is big performances in the Champions League again. That's why he's here. In terms of trophies, team trophies, again, he's won it all, so he deserves to be here. And also the class of the player, there is few to say about Hakimi, so I think he deserves his place here. One thing that uh, doesn't make him be higher on this list is maybe a bit of lack of individual performance to say that okay, this was Hakimi's PSG. That's what may be missing. But again, he had a different role this season, and he was part of this player experienced players, and I think he deserves a place in this. Then let's move to the next. Mo Salah for me is at the seventh place for the Ballon d'Or. I know it's crazy if you look at his beginning of the season where he was the best player in the world, where he was going for historical season. I thought it was time that an African player wins the Ballon d'Or again. But let's be honest, great season in the Premier League, especially with his contract situation. He went on and earned it on the pitch. That's what a champion is. I think if he had maybe made a great run in the Champions League, maybe he would be up higher on this list. But let's be honest, he was great in the Premier League. Individual numbers, crazy 29 goals only in the Premier League. 19 assists in the Premier League, I think. Top scorer, most assists. But again, in the Champions League, it's too light. It's too light. And the fact that Liverpool, I hate when people say that Liverpool only won one trophy, one Premier League. I think there is a lot missing, especially of players he's competing against who won trebles, who won multiple trophies, and who were impactful in the biggest games this season. So that's why a seventh place for Mo Salah is just for him. And the sixth player on this list is one of my favorite players in that Barcelona team. For me, I think is the most consistent player in Barcelona. Uh, I would have loved a player like him to receive a Ballon d'Or, honestly. And I think he's the perfect successor for Iniesta, and I'm talking about Pedri. But for me, Pedri, incredible season, honestly. I don't think there is a lot to say about Pedri's season. I think he's the most consistent player. All his games are around 8, 9 out of 10s every time. He's always good. But again, I don't have see a picture of Pedri individual performance. I don't see where Pedri has been, the most impactful Barcelona player, and that's what for me missing from put him in that Ballon d'Or, that top three category in Ballon d'Or. But exceptional player, exceptional human being. I don't think there is all to say. But again, only uh, a La Liga and Copa del Rey, it's not that bad, but there is maybe a big trophy that's missing. Also, that's the reason why also he is sixth on the list and not maybe second on the list. So let's move to the next one. Okay, it's official. Barcelona fans will hate me, but before you start hating on me, there is this video that I made about Lamine Yamal explaining why he's not overrated, why he's one of the best players in the world. And if you've seen this channel, you know that Lamine Yamal is literally my preferred player to watch, but let's be honest, Lamine Yamal is my fifth player in that Ballon d'Or list. I mean, I don't think he's in the top three. He's really intelligent because even in his communication, he tried to tell us that the Ballon d'Or will be played in the Nations League. If they beat France and they go and win the Nations League, maybe he would be a Ballon d'Or contender.
Para mí el Balón de Oro es al mejor jugador del año, pero ya dije que si se quería dar por el partido de hoy, pues que yo estaba abierto, que no tenía ningún tipo de problema.
We have to admire that this kid is as good in communication as he is on the pitch. So Lamine Yamal, great season again, the most spectacular player to watch this season. But again, if you give the Ballon d'Or to the most spectacular player, let's give it to also to Neymar back then because it was incredible to watch. Ballon d'Or again, there is criteria that you have to respect, and Lamine Yamal, there is a lot of criteria that I don't think he has 100% in all of them. Again, the most spectacular player to watch, incredible player to watch, but that's not where the Ballon d'Or is judged. The Ballon d'Or also plays in terms of team trophies. Again, there is a big trophy that's missing. I don't give Lamine Yamal a top three finish in the Ballon d'Or, and I don't think he deserves the Ballon d'Or this season. A player that I would have loved to put in that top three, but unfortunately he can't enter that top three is Vitinha. What a player this season. For me, the most consistent player again in that PSG team. If you would have told me that the same Vitinha I watched at Wolves would be playing in that PSG team at that level, being their number six, their regulator in the midfield, I wouldn't have believed in you. But Vitinha again this season, great performances. And don't forget that he's decisive in the final with his assist. He's impactful in the final, impactful in the big game. So Vitinha has that individual performances, the team trophies. He's won every trophy in every competition he played this season. I'm talking about the Nations League, where he was also an impactful player in the Nations League. He was literally a game changer. So for me, that's also another reason why Vitinha is up high on this list. And there is also the class of the player. There's nothing to say about him. So Vitinha, fourth in the Ballon. Ballon. Let's get into the top three. I think this is the surprise of the video. I think no one expects him, but for me, the third player on this list again, he comes from Paris Saint-Germain, and it's Nuno Mendes. For me, Nuno Mendes, everyone agrees that he's the best left back in the world, but I think he is also one of the best players in the world right now. Again, impactful in the big moments. Don't forget the number one criteria, individual performances in big games. Let's not forget about his performances in against English teams, against Aston Villa, against Arsenal, but also in the Champions League final. Defensively, again, incredible. He was a monster. And I don't forget that he's also a determining factor of Portugal in the Nations League. Yes, I said that the Nations League doesn't matter, but it's also another trophy that we could add on top of what he won. Again, he's like Vitinha. He won every competition he played this season. But he was more decisive than Vitinha. That's why he's in the podium. That's why he's third on this list. And for me, Nuno Mendes again, great season. That's why he deserves the top three in the Ballon d'Or. Individual performance in big games, he has it. Team trophies, he won it all. In the class of the player, there's nothing to say about Nuno Mendes. Let's move to our second player on this list. So the second player on this list is not my preferred player in that Barcelona team, but you've got to respect what he did this season. Raphinha for me, I think that's where Barcelona fans missed it. I think Lamine Yamal is the most spectacular player, but your best player, I think, is Raphinha. He is on the picture of all the important games of Barcelona this season. Hat-trick against Madrid, goals against Inter Milan at the last minute. He almost qualified you to the final. Like every important game, Raphinha is there. Top scorer of the Champions League. I don't forget about that. But for me, Raphinha, yeah, he deserves the second place. And the only reason, again, he's not Ballon d'Or for me, is that there is a guy in front of him that won the treble. So that's the only reason I can give for Raphinha to not be here, because he has everything. He has everything in terms of individual team trophies. He's missing only one trophy, which I think is the reason why he's not winning again. I think in the terms of class of the player, there was some negative stuff when he went on play for Brazil, but normally he's it's okay. So Rafinha has all those criteria, and if he ends up winning the Ballon d'Or, I wouldn't say that he stole it. I would say that it's not my pick. There is a guy that maybe deserves it more, but Rafinha also, looking his season, has all the three criteria. And you've probably guessed it. Ousmane Dembele is my Ballon d'Or. There's nothing to say more. Ousmane Dembele, a player that won PSG their first Champions League. That's historical in terms of individual performance. Top scorer of Ligue 1. He was also one of the main players in the Champions League. I think he's in top three of contribution in the Champions League. Again, his final. I think this season is different. Dembele again, exceptional player. I think he was important in all big games of PSG this season. Against Liverpool, he's the one who qualifies them. Again, against English clubs, also a big factor. And we have again to praise Luis Enrique, because if he hadn't dropped him against Arsenal in the beginning of the season, Dembele maybe wouldn't have had that change of character, um, that eagerness to win things. And we have to praise him about that. And again, we have to praise about Dembele how he changed everything. He went on to become a player that had a flop at Barcelona, literally a player who had zero impact to becoming a player that wins PSG their first Champions League. It's remarkable. Again, statistics has them individual performance, has it team performances again. He won everything collectively. There's nothing to say. And there's also the class of the player. Everyone loves that Ousmane Dembele. He's a funny guy. Everyone likes him. There's nothing wrong on Ousmane Dembele. So for me, he's the most deserving person to win Ballon d'Or. So Ousmane Dembele for me has to be the 2025 Ballon d'Or. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is there a player maybe that should have been higher on this list? And who's your Ballon d'Or player for me? I want to know which one is who is your pick and try to be, I know it's difficult, but try to be also objective, like without giving your own preference. Who do you think that deserve the Ballon d'Or objectively? So I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe for more football content. See you.